It is time for us to head to a new circuit for the series as we complete the virtual 3,000-mile journey across the United States. From the southeast with Florida's Sebring International Raceway all the way up to the Pacific Northwest, the state of Oregon into the Willamette Valley, the 3-kilometer Portland International Raceway. Opened in 1960, a circuit characterized by its curved back stretch, the tricky twists of its opening sector, and an extremely tight and treacherous final one. The field will have their work cut out for them across the two races this evening. It is time for round 2 of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO Season 2. Here on The Race, brought to you by Fanatec. The action today, as always, myself, Lewis McGlade, alongside me, Aidan Millward. Here we are, back for round 2. It is relegation day. 5 drivers will be departing Division 1, moving down to Split 2. It's all to play for.
Yeah, in the Pacific Northwest of North America, one of the most beautiful places in the world. Might be able to see Mount Hood providing quite the backdrop here tonight. And see who'll get relegated into Split 2 at the end of today. It'll be all to play for over the next 2 races.
It is pretty tight when it comes to that relegation spot, naturally, as you'd expect after only one round of racing so far. You can see on your screen how it works. Effectively, between every 2 rounds, the bottom 5 of Split 1 will move down to Split 2, and the top 5 of Split 2 will move up to Split 1. That's our main focus for this evening, and I'm just going to discuss who is in that drop spot at the moment. There are 2 drivers which have almost realistically got an automatic demotion, Matteo Caruso and Jan Venninger. I'm not sure if Matteo Caruso is here today. I have seen Jan on the server. Both of them were not there at the previous round, which means they missed out on the 100 points that they get for attending a round. And by missing that, they've effectively already locked themselves into dropping down to Split 2. The 3 other drivers in that bottom 5 are Mark Cruz, Chris Shepherd, and Yuri Toman. Way down the order, a driver that we expect to see up towards the front, and he should be able to secure himself provided he puts on a good display today. There are drivers down there, though, that we would expect to see a little bit higher up the grid, so there is tension in the air this evening. Who is going to be our 5 drivers to mode? Who's going to be our 5 drivers moving up here when we head to VIR and to Nürburgring in the middle of the season?
Ooh, don't put that on me too soon in the season, because if you have a bad race 1, that's going to put you way out of position for race 2, isn't it? So if you have a massive crash, or you have gear failure or a disconnect, then you've really got to pull it back. I think Colin Turkington in the BTCC for 9 last season, where he had to come from the back of the field to win it. It's going to be one of those drives at a track that is going to be pretty difficult to overtake at, given how quick Turn 1 is on the entry there.
It's an extremely high average speed around this circuit. You can see on your screen there a reminder that there is a sale at the moment on with the rFactor 2 content. Ends at midnight. So if you want to compare yourself to the drivers that we have on the grids here in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge series, and of course to the GT Pro drivers as well, you can grab yourself the content of the series currently on sale. So go out and get it. Our focus on today's action, though, who is going to be grabbing that pole position? It is going to be super duper tight out there. They're currently in the qualifying session. It is already opened up, and would you look at that, Mikkel Smedel currently on that pole position and setting a good first sector as well. Our championship leader of the previous round, winning the first race of the season, second in that second race across the line, and a 101.157. In comparison to the pro lap times, Erhan Yuyovsky had pole position in a Callaway on a 1:00.9. Now, yes, that's the GT Pro. That's the big boys. Do you, Aidan, expect to see a sub 1 minute 1 in this session? It's possible.
It's definitely possible, because Erhan Yuyovsky has proved it's possible. But then again, that's Erhan Yuyovsky. And need to point out as well, this is private qualifying, so we're looking at Luis Felipe Camagian at the minute, or actually no, we're looking at Yuri Toman at the minute, but only Yuri Toman can see Yuri Toman. He can't see Ibrahim Khan, he can't see Mikkel Smedel, he can't see Luca D'Amelio on track, so he's got the track all to himself, so there's going to be no slipstream, which, talking to other drivers earlier today, they were saying the slipstream is pretty good round here.
Yeah, we just saw Yuri Toman go to 4th place, our pole sitter in the previous one. Matthew Williams as well up into 3rd place. We look at Paul Augustlana, we're on board with Turka Hakkinen inside the top 10. He'll be pretty happy with that, the Finn, after a not so great qualifying session in the previous round, only 14th he was able to muster. That is what can only be described as not a great line through that final sector. Did say it was pretty tricky. We are going to see some overtakes, though, into that chicane come race time, because the slipstream onto the backstretch is actually really, really strong.
Yeah, quite high speed. There's normally a chicane at the end that they've been using in the IndyCar series in FSR. That's also been broadcast on the Race YouTube channel, and that's not being used today. So they're going into turn 1 a little bit faster than normal, and think the turn 1 at Mugello, it's going to be like that. So expect a lot of moves around the outside to try and keep the entry speed up.
Jakob's going to come across the line, currently qualified in 13th position, the same position that he would have started the first race last time out. Moves up only a single position. It is pretty tight inside that top 10, with the very specific exception of that gap at the front. Ibrahim Khan putting in yet another great qualifying session, up in 2nd place. He was 5th last time. Andrea Terzi in the Porsche, not looking so great. The Porsche very much an unfavoured car in the championship. There will be a change in the balance of performance later this season between the rounds. Should provide a little bit of sort of like more pace to some of the cars that are struggling. The Callaway may... I wouldn't expect it's going to struggle, though. It is a very good car. On board with Mark Cruz, who is one of those drivers who's down in that drop zone, and that's a very sketchy entry to that chicane. Yep, and there we go. There goes another one.
That's another F right there. As
F's in the chat.
F's in chat, please. Yeah, Luis Felipe Campagian in that preferred Callaway Corvette, keeping it nice and tidy as he comes through to the really high-speed section around the back end of the track. It's just a long right-hander. Think Curva Grande at Monza. Probably going to be some overtaking moves galore into this little braking zone. I wouldn't say it's a heavy braking zone, because look how much speed he's taking. Yeah, track limits. What track limits?
Yeah, right.
As through the final corner onto the drag strip, which also functions as start-finish straight. Well, start-finish straight away because we're in America. And then he'll come across the line. He's actually up on his personal best, but slower than Smeedle. And that's a 101.3. That's 2nd place.
Matt Rich
is 3rd place.
Yeah, Matt Rich has moved himself to the head Zansho car in 3rd. Yuri Toman, pole sitter last time. A decent first sector, terrible middle sector though. He's just probably cooling it down. It is important to note that Louis-Philippe Capamajan was one of 4 drivers hit with a penalty in the previous round. They don't take it. It's not a grid penalty. It's a timed penalty applied to the race that it occurred in. Philippe Capamajan, it is important to note though that he received the largest penalty, if anyone, at 60 seconds for avoidable contact. They did give the drivers that were involved in the incident quite a slap on the wrist, as the stewarding weren't too impressed with some of the driving that was portrayed back in Sebring. So we hope, coming here to a track which is very, very difficult for its racing, which could see some issues, we hope to see that cleaned up by the stewards being a little bit harsh by using effectively the first round to set the standard. Setting the standard of drifting, catching. Do that in the race, good sir, and you'll be earning yourself a cheeky $5. Nice work, Ibrahim Khan. It's not quick though.
Ruben's probably licking his lips at the slow-mo he can get out of that one. Has he got the Eurobeat on it? They left the stereo on in that car, because that was fantastic. As I think going back to the whole driving standards thing, people will say that rubbing is racing, but smashing into each other isn't, and that's, short races, people are going to be quite aggressive, but I think the people have just been overly aggressive. See Donat Proden in the Volanti Sport car just abandoning that lap. Okay.
Well, he's got enough time to go out and do it. It's such a short lap. You get plenty of attempts in this session. Matthew Williams in a good qualifying position at the moment, up in 6th place. We saw some good pace from Matthew Williams in the previous round. Wasn't really able to capitalise on it. Finished 14th in the first race this season, 16th in the second race, but that's not really showing the pace that was in that car. He has got some good ability, definitely a talent up and coming in sim racing over the last couple of years, has shown some good results, but maybe not the consistency over a championship round to round. Moves himself up into 5th place though, gets ahead of Luke D'Amelio, splits up some of the Zanshos and gets in on that party. Smeedle though, 2 tenths clear at the top. That is a huge margin.
Yeah, 2 tenths around here.
There we go.
Ruben, yes. That's
You've just got to admire it, haven't you?
Flames coming out the exhaust as well. Love it. That's giving Zancho and their sponsors some good time on screen, isn't it?
Oh, Moo, not fancying that.
No, that's not optimal.
Turka Häkkinen, decent-ish first sector, only losing a little bit, but gaining a fair amount of that back when it comes to his improvement on his personal lap time. Not hitting the apex, though, at the final corner on board with the Nita Velix Callaway, far ahead of his teammate at the moment. What's Turka Häkkinen going to do across the line? 8th place he currently is. 8th place he is going to stay. Still a good qualifying session for him. Mikkel
Smidl's going to be faster, or not?
Oh, he didn't do it. He didn't do it.
Almost. 0.089.
It is important to note as well, by the way, once the timer hits 0, that's the session done. We'll move straight over. There's no time for them to finish the laps that they start. It's not like a standard qualifying session in that format. Because they're given the track to themselves, they're given 15 minutes. The race directors, the race stewarding have said that basically, you know, you've got enough time to put the laps together. Here's the John Lacey Esports Academy driver of Casper Stoltz, who got into a little bit of trouble yesterday doing some oval racing. Here, that Ferrari is very much struggling. I think there's going to be a little bit of press coming from there. They came into it with a little bit of confidence, but there was definitely some struggle, and they're not convinced that the race pace is going to be much better in that Ferrari. 15th place for Jordi Zwiers, I believe the highest placed Jean Lacey Esports driver. Ibrahim Khan, who was perp in the first sector, yellow in the second, lost lots of time. It's not going to be an improvement to the line, I don't believe, unless he's absolutely nailed the final sector. Speaking of which, how do you lose 2/10 on a lap, still improve around such a small circuit, moves himself to the front row of the grid? What a final sector from Ibrahim Khan.
Well, if he's gone that fast in the final sector, what could he knock off in the middle sector doing that? But still,
I think he was
top 15 less than half a second. That's phenomenal.
He's not a full-time driver for Zancho Simsport, at least as far as I'm aware. Like he kind of joined almost on loan, in a sense, to the team. I think Ed is going to want to very much secure Ibrahim Khan after this performance, leader of Zancho Simsport, and looking very good. That is not, though, from Martin Hemmingsen. Into the tight 90 degrees right-hander. His qualifying session is done, and 7th is best that he can do. There is an improvement in that second sector, so he's only lost a 10.5 rather than losing nearly 2/10. So he's going to come to the line and trying to improve again. It's not quite good enough. Loses 3/10 overall to Mikkel Smidl. Second place is as good as it gets for him, but I'm pretty sure he'll be happy with that. This lap's not going to be completed by Patel. Neither is this one that we're on board with from Matthew Williams. Despite a good first sector, we're not going to be able to get to the checkered flag, provided it does actually move over in the way that we're expecting it to.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes and that's your lot. No waiting around, just getting on with it tonight. So Chris Shepherd knocks a bit of time off. That's a personal best for him, I think, in 23rd position. But it just goes to show, though. I mean, I'm not slagging off any driver's talents here, but just because you've got the preferred car doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be near the front.
No, it's such a tight field. Turka Häkkinen, the session is over. I think, no, there we go. It did move straight over. That's a bit of a shame there from Matthew Williams. Turka Häkkinen, though, moved up to 6th place in the dying moments of the session. That's a great qualifying session for the Finn, for Nita Velix. It must be said, though, it's a second consecutive pole position for Varga Sim Racing. This time it goes the way, though, of Mikkel Smidl, our championship leader. And that'll be looking pretty good to maybe try and take a race victory. Of course, they were leading 1-2 back in Sebring before Yuri Toman had to come into the pit lane. Points of interest to Portland, what we're looking out for
advancing
when it comes
to sprint race. Good luck.
There we go, getting the advancing to sprint race from our race director. What we're going to be looking out for, we've got turn 1 and 2, which is a very, very fast entry corner. You've got the tight right-hander in the middle part of the section, this one here, to T4, and then that final chicane, that run from this corner all the way down there. It is extremely fast into it and very, very tight. Aidan, I think we're going to see a few tasty overtakes around here, especially considering how close the field is.
Yeah, a few tasty overtakes and hopefully not a few tasty calamities as well, because we've seen how aggressive these guys can be and they've been told to rein it in a bit. They will get penalised, and there's your starting grid: Smidl, Khan, Kempagian and Matt Richards, he's going to be very happy with that qualifying performance.
Second in the championship, Matt Richards. Then, yep, starting on that second row, will be happy with that. Matthew Williams, then starting from 5th place. Turka Hakkinen, Luca D'Amelio, and Martin Hemmingson, all Callaways up front here in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO. Yuri Toman, only 9th place is all he can do, and then Andonovski, who's right up there trying to fight for the top 5 positions. The 2 DX Droids drivers, Elias Fernandez and David Serra, and Jesper Eriksson, maybe a bit disappointed with that. Nick Jacobs, Paul August Lana, that's a good qualifying session for him. And Jordi Zveers, I think that's the first non-Callaway, down in 16th place. Oh, you said they need a bot. Rory McDuff, only 17th, a bit disappointed with that considering where his teammate is. Then we've got Alan Terzic, Paul Ahonen, and Kasper Stolzer rounding out that top 20. Behind this, Mohamed Patel, Mark Cruz, Chris Shepherd, and Donat Prodan for Volante Racing. He did some good stuff in the previous round, at least when it comes to his showing of pace. Let's see what he can do in this one. Roman Jakubovic with Vlad Tokarev. There's a Porsche and an Aston Martin. Another Porsche, Andrea Terzi. And then Jan Veninger. That is a very chromed car, by the way, that Veninger is bringing to the table. The 28th and final car here this evening. We're on board with Smeedle at the front of the field. They'll all line themselves up through that chicane. They'll pick his time to go.
Has to be said, though, that last time out, the Ferraris did quite well in the second race, so maybe they're just not that good over a short stint, but really start to come together in longer ones.
Which isn't what practice shows. It's really weird, because that's not what practice showed even at Sebring. It showed that the Ferrari was going to drop off more than the Callaway, and yet it kind of didn't.
It's black magic, that's what it is.
It's a skilled team.
This is not BTCC, it's GT3.
The call from race director Jimmy Allison. A little bit of a slap on the wrist in the driver briefing there. The race, though, the sprint race here at the Portland International Raceway, about to get underway. 16 minutes on the clock, so it's going to be maybe a lap longer than some drivers were expecting. The command goes the way of Mikkel Smeedel, and that run into turn 1, which could be very, very treacherous indeed. When is he going to go? Two Sanchos on the left-hand side, or the left-hand side as they look at it from head-on. The right-hand side as they run in towards turn 1. Great launch, though, from Smeedel, who's absolutely cleared off Louis-Philippe Capmajan. I think it's going to be hung out to dry here as the two Sancho drivers working together, and Turka Hakkinen as well, trying to find his way through, right on board with Luca D'Amelio a little bit further down the order. That's Turka Hakkinen not able to get through on Louis-Philippe Capmajan, but 5th place for him, still pretty decent. And I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. Looking backwards from Ibrahim Khan to his teammate, who's nearly been clipped there from Capmajan, who got into big trouble in the previous round. Looks like a fairly clean start, though, Aidan. Yeah,
I was checking the rFactor 2 on my other screen. Nobody's gone flying down. Oh, actually, Rory McDuff's gone flying down the order. So I think he might have had a Spinala at some point, but yeah, he's right down the back behind that heavily chromed
he's a big Porsche
of Veninger. I think there's going to be magpies attacking that car in the paddock later. It's quite shiny. But Jordi Zveers and Jesper Eriksson picked up a cut track already.
Oh, that's an instant into the final chicane. Who's that? Who's gone off? It's Donat Prodan and Chris Shepherd off at the final chicane, down in 27th and 28th. There's Donat Prodan. Don't know what's happened to them, but they are down the order and way off. A little bit of an update as to what happened with Rory McDuff. He was squeezed off on the run into turn 1 by Jordi Zveers. I think there might be an instant report incoming for that one. Oh no, Matt Richards! He's gone! That's second in the championship, gone into the first section. He's going to be dropping way down the order. That is a huge mistake from the Welshman. What has happened? Was that just of his own volition?
I think he just lost the rear end going into turn 2 or turn 3.
I'm sure there'll be some very large expletives coming from him, and there's more pressure coming as down the inside, Jordi Zveers really forcing his way through, not liking that. You need to give more room than that, my friend. And now we're on to that curved backstretch, one of the points that we need to look at in this. Matt Richards may have to drop back here, may have to drop back into 16th place after all of that. That is very unfortunate and not what he wanted. Let's have a look on the replay and see what happened. This is Rory McDuff. There's Jordi Zveers. There's that sort of squeeze.
Grass. Yeah.
And he's, that's not. That's. I'm sorry, Jordi. You needed to. I know what he was watching the car on his right hand side. Didn't really realise that Rory was still there. But that's a bit of a shame for the American from the other side of the northern parts of the United States. Down the inside. This is Yuri Toman making his way up the order, getting by Luca D'Amelio, or at least holding off into T1 8th place. Now goes the way of Toman. Pole sitter back in Sebring. It was a cleanish first lap, and then after that, it's all fallen apart.
Yeah.
But hopefully, we're all back together again.
Yeah, telling people this isn't the BTC, and then you've got Matt Richards, who is a touring car specialist, so he doesn't know anything else, really. But I'm sure he can pull back a few positions, try and get himself into that top 10 for the reverse grid, and then he'll be on pole.
Alan Terzic marching his way forward. He'll be a little bit frustrated. Martin Hemmingson down the order, out of the race, classified as an accident. What has happened to Martin Hemmingson, who was doing well for Pinsim Drillers Esports? He just pulled off himself. I don't actually know what happened there. I think it...
Yeah, he's just pulled over.
No, it would have said engine. It would have said he blew his engine.
Yeah, he's just pulled over.
Nick Jacobs. Oh, Nick Jacobs getting absolutely smashed there from August Lana as he goes for a spin. I think Jacobs left enough room, and it was Lana who over the corner. At least that's kind of what it showed from that angle. This is a replay, I'm assuming, with... this is Donut Prodon with Chris Shepherd. Oh, it's Jesper Eriksson that he just clips and goes off, which means that Chris Shepherd went off by himself as well in all of that. A little bit messy into that final chicane.
Well, I just had a look at the replay of Martin Hemmingson, and his inputs were quite all over the place. So maybe he's had some sort of gear miscalibration or something along those lines.
Weird indeed. Must be said, some great drives happening. For one, obviously Ibrahim Khan in second place. That's a brilliant drive. But do not rule out the great drives thus far from Turka Hakkinen and Matthew Williams, both inside the top 5. That is quality from those two. They did not open the season realistically in the way they want. Remember the struggles that Turka Hakkinen had in the Bentley last season. They are looking very nice inside the top 5 at the moment. There is Turka Hakkinen in 4th place, applying pressure to Louis-Philippe Capamajan. With 11 minutes on the clock, you wouldn't rule out a potential podium position for the Nita Velix driver, and I'm sure the Finn would be absolutely over the moon with that.
Yeah, that Bentley last season was a little bit of a meme, wasn't it? He was quite off the pace, but he stuck with it, bless him. But yeah, now he's in the Callaway and he's able to drive something he's more comfortable with. He's absolutely flying up there at the top end of the field.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well indeed. Like I said, did not have the qualifying last round that he would have wanted. This is on board with Hemmingson. See if we can listen in as well. But bizarre, and then just calls it. His wheel was still working and everything like that, because he did turn left and his brake pedals were also still working, so it wasn't that either. Curious incident. According to the game, he didn't pop his engine either. I'm quite baffled by that, if I'm honest. Rory McDuff already back inside the top 20 in 18th place, by the way, moving his way back up the order, now trying to fire his way through on a Ferrari. We'll keep our eye on this podium battle as it is very, very tight indeed, and also pressure being applied from behind with Matthew Williams. Antonovsky not too far behind either. Finished the first sprint race of the season in 7th, and then the second race of the season in 6th. So really, you'd want to kind of keep that momentum up, get himself a good 5th place in this, maybe 4th in the next one. And he'll start marching on the podium for the Pinsim Drillers Esports. Was a little bit of a touchy entrance there from Turka Hakkinen.
Let's see how big this slipstream is down the front straight. I haven't probably seen it as of yet.
Seems okay.
Yeah.
Seems like it's not too bad.
OP.
No.
Oh, here we go.
This is Matt Richards trying to get himself further up the order after that mistake. Now with Jordi Veers, who's going to defend his way into T1. This is where Matt Richards took a dive to the outside. Oh, don't do it again, lad. Don't do it again. Oh, my goodness me.
It's not front-wheel drive now.
Yeah, you can't just smash the throttle and save this one, Matty boy. Rory McDuff off the road again. I wonder if that was another one of the Jean Lacey Esports Academy drivers, or whether it was him doing it by himself. He holds off Vlad Tokarev in the Aston Martin. Not a good round from Rory McDuff thus far. Had a good second race last time out. Finished 7th in that second race. Just having a look. Nope, he completely overdid the first corner. That one is on McDuff's shoulders this time, unfortunately. It is pretty hard right now. This is the problem with the circuit. That's the problem in air quotes. It's McDuff's crashed big time. McDuff has crashed big time, by the way. We've just gone to a replay. This is on board with Jordi Veers. And we'll see what happens ahead. That's what. Oh, oof. Yeah, he just very much overdid that with Paul Auguste Lana, in my opinion. Rory McDuff though, big and off just as a bit of a note. So he's way down the order, going to crawl it back into the pit lane. It was a huge off. There's a lot of replays. The Archie is being absolutely smashed by broadcast director Ruben Carrera Alves in this one. On board with the second of the DX Droids cars, Ilias Fernandez with David Serra ahead. And a bit of a line here. You've got the Zancho SimSport driver of Luca D'Amelio. I nearly said Tony D'Amelio there. I'm learning from you, mate.
That's my meme.
And Yuri Toman. They are quite tight in the train, but they're dropping off from Antonovsky ahead.
Just throwing it over the curbs through this final sector. Use that little bit of access road on the exit. Carries so much speed through there.
This is what I was saying though, but the problem, in air quotes, with this circuit is that because it's such a high average speed and because there isn't tarmac runoff, this is grass runoff, battle for second place as Louis-Philippe Capamachance on the back of Ibrahim Khan backs out of it into T1. If you overdo a corner and you go slightly wide, for one, you're in the marbles, you're going wide anyway. For two, if you step it over that white line onto the grass, you are gone. This track bites hard. It is a very high average speed, so if you do go off, you're going off at a mighty rate of knots as well. And grass is no good for slowing down. Paul August Lana after the incident earlier in the race with Nick Jacobs, now battling it out with Andrea Terzi, who's clearly better at making physics than driving cars.
This is Rory.
Yeah, he just lost the rear end going into the chicane. Too much speed going in. I think he may have had damage on the car as well.
Yeah.
Lost a wheel as well and all of that. But he did take a little bit too much speed in as well, I think. Lost the rear end. A little bit of an awkward snap there, and that's what we mean. If you make a mistake at the speeds that you're going in this car, you are going to meet the wall very quickly. Still nothing happening out front. The Ibrahim Khan managing to hold off from Louis-Philippe Capamachance. I think Alan Terzic and Ilias Fernandez are going side by side, by the way, 9th place. Oh, that is a fantastic move from Alan Terzic. He has made it work through that opening sector on Ilias Fernandez. And in a Callaway-dominated race, Alan Terzic in a Ferrari in the top 10, that is a stunning drive from the Slovenian. We've said a few times before that Terzic's pace on his move forward in sim racing is pretty incredible, and he is doing that justice in this race, moving it up inside the top 10, acting a bit like an alien in that sense when it comes to speed, extracting the most from that Ferrari as Louis-Philippe Capamachance. He's pushing it hard, but Ibrahim Khan is putting in some pro laps at the front end of the field in second place at the moment. But here comes Capamachance, the defence. Oh, picking, did not know which way to go. He's not going to be able to hold it around there.
Well, that's going to bring Turka Hakkinen into play if they keep battling like this, and Turka might be able to go, thank you very much, if those two come into contact with each other.
Terzic nearly got re-overtaken by Ilias Fernandez there. A nice little cut back to the inside. It wasn't quite enough for Fernandez to throw it back down the inside, but Alan Terzic is now setting his sights on Luca D'Amelio ahead. This is on board with Terzic. This is how we got through. So the two DX Droids cars came together into T1. The door was open and Terzic was like, yeah, okay, mate, I don't need a second invitation. Whilst the other one was going off in the background of David Serra, Ilias Fernandez was passed by the Ferrari driver of Alan Terzic, and Jean Alesi Esports moves up to 9th place in all of this. They are throwing it through. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, and these drivers, you would not believe it, but they are blazing it around the Portland International Raceway.
Yeah, Alan Terzic can absolutely fire his way through from back to front. It's like a last to first challenge every single time. It's just most of these times his race ends up in a wall somewhere, like it has done in the FSR IndyCar series, but here he's driving absolutely brilliantly.
And we'll just hope that he can hang on. He was victorious at this venue in that series as well. And that was in a main race, a longer race, about an hour long. 45 minutes, yellow flag out in Sector 3. Not sure who is causing that one. Paul Ahonen, by the way, has retired from the race. It may well have been him. Jan Venninger and Paul August Lana are sliding it around in the background. Rory McDuff has called it there in this race. It is a retirement, but our focus then heads to his teammate, who is putting in drive of the season so far, Turka Hakkinen, battling it out to potentially get onto the podium. This could be a fantastic day for Nita Velix to open it in this round 2 of the season. in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO. Nita Velix looking to capitalise on dramas throughout the race. Drivers like this on the right-hand side, Matt Richards, who dropped down the order courtesy of his own mistake, at least from what we saw, and very much opened the door for a surprise podium, and that we are getting indeed.
Yeah, I've been checking Discord messages to see if Ed had said something about what had actually happened, but nothing as of yet. So we'll probably find out later on when we go for a chat afterwards. But still, anything can happen in the next half hour, as they used to say on Stingray. I think it was. I don't know.
Sorry, it sounds like a show that was on in the 60s, which is your time, not mine.
I mean, that's for my mum's benefit. She's watching.
Oh, I see. I see. That battle still raging on. Second place. They're throwing it up and over the grass. Just want to refocus back down to 14th place. Just a quick second as Jesper Eriksson. Oh, Kasper Stolzer and his teammate nearly came together into the final chicane. By the way, it's tight everywhere on the grid. I believe that was on replay, by the way, on the right-hand side, based on where everyone is on second. I did think Matt Richards wasn't quite that far off in the in the lead battle. Easily done. But there is that battle. 14th place. There are battles up and down the order, and points are given out for multiple positions, not just the top few. And these are all battling it out. Remember that it is important when it comes to those points-paying positions with the top 5 in server 2, and obviously the bottom 5 in this server, as to who's going to move up and down the order. It's going to be a big day for this man who's going to move himself very safe of relegation, even finishing in 4th place.
Yeah, we'll be checking in with server 2 after the second race here tonight. See who'll be potentially coming up in that. Then they'll be racing the next round in this one. This is Paulie Ahonen into that fast sort of final section, and
that's where he's gone.
He's
that's
off.
Where he's dropped
Ouch.
it. That is quite an oof right there as a battle for the podium. This will be the penultimate lap of the race based on where Mikael Smeedel is. Oh no! Is that Turk Hakkinen going? It is. Oh, I think he may have just left down the inside of Philippe Capeljan. He has managed to hold on though. But he's run wide again. Turk Hakkinen, he's wide open, and Matt Williams has gone through into 4th place. Oh my goodness, what a drive. What a drive from Matthew Williams. Has slotted that one through on a couple of mistakes from Turk Hakkinen. Still a top 5. Incredible result for the Finn. But the Englishman of Matthew Williams slotting his way through, getting to 4th place. The top 2 ahead have run off. But here comes Hakkinen again into the chicane. It's very risky.
Bonk.
Oh, no. Come on, lads.
That's Jimmy Allison's not going to be happy with that one, I don't think.
No, I don't know. See, this is the thing, is I don't know if that was Turk Hakkinen leaving it in a place where he had no invite, or if that was Matthew Williams coming across. But either way, the two came to blows. Have been very lucky in the sense that Hakkinen's hold on to 4th place, and Danovsky's gained to 5th. Matthew Williams is now about to be passed by Yuri Toman up into 6th place. And behind that, Luca D'Amelio not too far. That's who we ride on board with in this scenario. A bit of a squeeze from Yuri Toman into the first corner. And Toman gets through into 6th place. Matthew Williams, after that incident into the chicane, drops down to 7th. Our focus must head towards the front of the grid as there's a yellow flag out in Sector 1 again. Not sure who that belongs to. It's Jesper Eriksson who's dropped it down the order. So for AAA Esports, that's not good for him. That may drop him into a potential relegation position. We'll find out what happens. But through the final chicane, for yet another victory, his 2nd of the season, going back-to-back in the sprint races, his 3rd consecutive podium. Mikael Smeedel is victorious here again in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO. Vargas Sim Racing take yet another victory, and that will extend his championship lead. Here's Yuri Toman, who's only going to get 7th place, so he did drop back, wasn't able to hold on with Matthew Williams, 6th place. Ibrahim Khan and Louis-Philippe Capeljan, though, going to round out a popular podium. This is a battle a little bit further down the order, on board with Nick Jacobs. There's Mark Cruz. And
finish.
Yeah, it is going to be super duper close, though. But Cruz is going to be the one to get it. That's Mohamed Patel. And Nick Jacobs as well got very, very close to the end of that. The 2 of those, or 3 of those really, all 3 separated by less than a 10th of a second across the line. All very, very tight. This is on board with Nick Jacobs in a replay. Hayden, what's happened here?
I think he's going to fire it inside.
Here comes
and oh dear.
Eriksson.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh!
Oh,
Why?
that's terrible. Was that Patel? Yeah, it was Patel. That's. I want to say not ideal, but that was less than not ideal. That was very silly.
That's
what
an
wasn't
unsafe
silly,
rejoin.
Yeah, literally highlight that and be like, yeah, if you want to see what an unsafe rejoin is, let's take a look at this one. Things where there weren't mistakes, though, let's focus on the positives in that race. For Mikael Smeedel, what a victory. Ibrahim Khan, Louis-Philippe Capamajan rounding out the podium. Good drives from those three. That incident between Turkey Hakkinen and Matthew Williams might need to be investigated, but either way, 4th and 6th for those. And Danovsky did come through, has improved, so he's finished 7th, 6th, and now 5th. So 4th in the next race, he'll be doing well. D'Amelio, Terzic, in my opinion, pretty much driver of the race from Alan Terzic. 9th place for him. What a drive in a car that is very much struggling around the circuit. It's probably the third best if you were to include the BMW. We don't have any of those in this, so realistically, it's second best car on the grid, but still. Must be said. Ilias Fernandez then rounding out the top 10. Sarah Zviers, Matt Richards. That'll be a big shame for Matt Richards. Kasper Stolzer, Mark Cruz, Mohamed Patel, Nick Jacobs, Vlad Tokarev, Chris Shepherd in the top 20 there in 19th place, getting a position as well on Jesper Eriksson, who finished in 20th place, making the most out of some of the mistakes of other drivers. Jakubovic and Paul August Lana will be 21st, 22nd. Then Jan Veniger, Donat Prodan, and Andrea Terzi round out our finishers. 3 retirements from that race. Aidan, Paulie Ahonen, Roy McDuff, Martin Hemmingson. Not many retirements from a track that bites, but come to the main race. You know, we're looking at a race which is effectively 3 times the length. I think we might see some difficulties across the running of that feature race here at Portland.
Yeah, I think it's going to be less aggression from everybody in the next race, and Rory McDuff's going to have to pull something off. I don't know if he's going to be in the bottom for the relegation places, but yeah, anything can happen over the next 45 minutes. My mum's just texted me actually saying it was Stingray where that was from. So
okay,
yeah.
let's focus our attention on drives that are a little bit further down the order and drives that may well have moved them further up, because there are some drivers that are in sort of the battle position. So Yuri Toman, with his drive to 7th place, that has effectively moved him out of the bottom bit, especially considering the reverse grid for the feature race, the top 10. That's going to move him right up the order when it comes to the points. Even with that 7th place, that's a good result that just moves him outside of... There's potential for him to get dropped, but it's a bit of a safety net after a not great first round. So he's going to move up and out of that potentially. Mohamed Patel's still very much in the danger zone, as is Chris Shepherd. Mark Cruz, Matteo Caruso's gone, and Jan Veninger's gone. So we know 2 of them. They'll be going down to split 2. Well, that battle between those final 3 spots is raging on.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to have to be a wait and see approach, because we can't predict anything that's going to happen over the 45-minute feature race. But yeah, if people are going to be super aggressive as they were, then yeah, people might end up in a wall. People might end up being spun round and things like that. People might lose it under their own volition, as we saw as well. But I think we're going to be looking more towards the front, see what Alan Terzic can do in that Ferrari, which, as we know, isn't the preferred car in this series right now.
Yes, we may well see, by the way, another Nita Velix car. We saw Turkey Hakkinen put in a good drive there for 4th place. We may see another Nita Velix car, because the drivers potentially moving up from split 2 at the moment coming into the round. We'll get the race 1 results to you in a moment once we get to them, and obviously we're going to check in on the final part of race 2 for split 2. The thing is, though, after the round 1, Herman Stocky was leading the championship. There was 5 Callaways in the top 5, kind of expected, but it's a bit more of an open series. Stocky, Delos Rios, McIntyre, Jack Noller, and Paul Holt, the top 5 in split 2. Here's one of the main teams that we've got. They've got lots of drivers spread across many different splits, including Jack McIntyre, who is in that top 5 spot in split 2. Could see another Zancho on the grid. One of the stronger teams, we saw Ibrahim Khan getting 2nd place, Luca D'Amelio inside the top 10, 2nd of the championship, Matt Richards, the one that's on screen at the moment, definitely did not want that race.
Well, that's a beautiful shot right there of an absolute army of Callaway Corvettes. But yeah, we've got a lot of drivers across the multiple series. A team that's sort of on the up at the minute. having won GTE in the VEC last season as well.
Right, I've just received then the results from race 1. This is for split 2. Let me just clarify that. This is for split 2, the sprint race. The race winner, Miguel de los Rios from Hermann Stocky. So those two that were top 2 in split 2 anyway, they've scored those points. I get the feeling that that's nearly confirmed them in an effective position to move up into split 1. Obviously, they still need to do the feature race, but it's looking pretty good for them. Juan Carlos Fernandez was in 3rd place in all of that. The Jean Lacey Esports Academy, another very, very strong team. Got a few drivers across. Did I say Jean Lacey Esports Academy?
I think so.
It's Pinsim Drillers, but that's fine. I don't know what I said.
That's what came up on the screen.
Yeah, panicking. This is Ruben trying to play trick with us, seeing if we're awake. I did one. I was like, look at the drivers, being like, that's not the. Okay, it's fine.
No.
But yeah, so things are very, very tight. Anyway, in split 2 as well, we'll try and get those results to you. We won't know who's going to finish where in the championship and who's going to move up officially, because we need effectively the results to be confirmed. Things that are confirmed though, the grid order here for race 2. Ilias Fernandez and Alan Terzic starting from the front row of the grid. Then we've got Luca D'Amelio, Yuri Toman, Matthew Williams, Timotej Andonovski, Turka Hakkinen and Louis-Philippe Capamajan starting from 8th place after a podium finish. Then it'll be Ibrahim Khan and double race winner and triple podium sitter Mikkel Smedel, David Serra and Jordi Zveers 11th and 12th on the grid. See if Jordi can move his way up the order as he did in the previous one. Previous feature race, that is. Matt Richards, who'll be desperate to move his way up the order, but he's very much in the danger zone with Kasper Stolzer, Mark Cruz and Mohamed Patel behind after a very dangerous rejoin in the previous race. Nick Jacobs, Vlad Tokarev, Chris Shepherd and Jesper Eriksson for AAA Esports. Some drivers that were in the wars early on in the race need to focus to try and get a good result here. Starting towards the back of the grid then, Roman Jakubovic with Paul August Lana, Jan Veninger and Donat Prodan for Valente down in 24th place in the Ferrari as opposed to his teammates in the Callaways. Andrea Terzi, Paul Ihonen, a few retirements, Paul Ihonen, Roy McDuff and Martin Hemmingson all starting from the back, all retiring in that first race. Disappointments for them. Definitely need to step it up in this feature race coming up. 45 minutes on the clock will be the call. And Aidan, what do you think we're going to see from this one?
I think Alan Terzic might take the lead at turn 1 and then just try his best to hold up all of these Callaways that are up behind him. But we've seen how quick Alan Terzic was in the first round, so he's just got to keep it on track.
We will indeed. Starting from 2nd place, though, you'd suspect he's going to be in a little bit of hardship trying to keep up with Ilias Fernandez into T1, but we'll see what he can do. The Slovenian can be quite aggressive, but with Ilias Fernandez starting from that pole position, Luca D'Amelio and Yuri Toman behind. Who's going to be leading? We are underway for the feature race in round 2 of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO. It is not a good start from Mikkel Smedel, who's being swamped into turn 1. Kasper Stolzer on the right-hand side, pushing his teammate. A bit of bump drafting there as he's trying to get through. The lead of the field, though, it is going to be Fernandez. It is Alan Terzic, Luca D'Amelio, Yuri Toman and Andonovski, the top 5. Oh, look at that snap there from Kasper Stolzer. Ibrahim Khan desperate to hang on. Jordi Zveers has already gained the position. Now coming through, Mikkel Smedel trying to gain it on the Jean Lacey Esports Academy driver, but everything's going to tighten up and go to the right-hand side. He's deep on the brakes behind Ibrahim Khan. Ooh. The door's open. There's a yellow flag out. Oh, there's Big Off. There is Big Off. That is Chris Shepherd.
Yeah, Shepherd.
I think it might be Nick Jacobs as well.
Yeah, just seeing Shepherd just go tumbling down the order, as has Nick Jacobs. But up front, Ilias Fernandez proving me wrong, keeping Alan Terzic behind him for the entirety of the first lap and having a half a second advantage over him. But now Terzic is going to have to fight Luca D'Amelio in behind him, as well as Yuri Toman in those preferred Callaways, snaking down the front straight here. It's almost like watching the Indy 500, the way they snake like they do to load up the tyres.
Jordi Zveers, by the way, 8th place, looking for a move on his old team. By the way, 8th place should be going the way of him. We're riding on board with Yuri Toman, who's running wide in the background of this. There is side-by-side through the first sector as Jordi Zveers in 8th place has got through on Turka Hakkinen with a fantastic move up into 8th place for Jean Lacey Esports Academy. Like I said, it's his old team. Anita Felix, it was Singularity. But he's made that one stick, and the door's open as well for Ibrahim Khan as well to get through on Turka Hakkinen. Not looking good for, by the way, a 4th consecutive podium for Mikael Smedel. I know it's in the early stages of the race, and we said that last time. He could still move his way up the order, but not ideal for him. Still in 11th place. Everyone's still battling it out and trying to find their way up this order. This is Jordi Sveers. Oh, Mikael Smedel!
Oh, no!
Smedel's gone. What happened there? He's overdone it. He's hit into the side sorry, I am absolutely losing this. It was into the side of Turka Hakkinen that's going to be losing the positions as they were dropping down the order. I'm baffled by that.
He's going for the outside line here.
That's not going to work. Not especially not after race 1, buddy. Don't try that. Don't try it. Don't do it, Anakin. It is not worth it.
Don't do it, Anakin. Mohammed does the high ground.
Look at this. We are getting some feisty battles. Respect given between these two. The Aston Martin battling it out with the favoured Callaway as Hemmingson's trying to move his way up the order after a disappointing race 1. And Vlad Tokarev dropped to 16th place. Doors open as well for Paul August Lana to try and move his way through. The doors open for Chris Shepherd, and there's contact between them in the background. We're back to touring car racing, lads, as Mikael Smedel moving his way up the order in 18th place now is all he's getting. Definitely not a podium coming his way in this race in his current position. We're on board with Donat Prodon, and you can see all of that battling. Mikael Smedel's going side by side to the chicane again, by the way. Oh, he's having to back out of it. And Chris Shepherd's overdone it. Chris Shepherd's overdone it. He's left the door open. We didn't see this work. What are you doing, buddy? Oh, that's silly. That's super silly. Why would you leave the nose down there like that?
Well, if you no longer go for it, wait.
Oh, no.
Oh, what?
No, we need to wrap out from this back bit because this is
take a timeout.
let's head back to the front where it's less crazy because we're going to see a huge crash down there, and me and Aiden are going to get really angry. Ilias Fernandez currently leading the race from Alan Terzic, who Alan Terzic in that Ferrari with the tyres that he's got. We've said this before that the Ferrari burns through its tyres a fair amount in comparison to the others, and so he may have hardship in the later parts of the race, so we'll see what he can do. This is on board with Vlad Tokarev. This is where I think we're going to see Chris Shepherd and Nick Jacobs. Oh, with Jesper Eriksson.
Oh,
that was messy.
Goodness.
That was very messy. And Jimmy Allison's going to be pulling his hair out. ...
Oh, I can't laugh.
Sorry, yeah, you really can't, unfortunately, buddy. Sorry, mate. Oh, dear.
Oh. We're not going to win that commentary award, are we?
No, good Lord. Oh, no, I've been poked as well. Oh, this is not going
Don't
very
poke me. Oh, here we go.
He said,
Matt,
thanks for the nice comment. Yuri Toman, by the way, has just got through on Andonovsky. Door was pretty wide open there at T1. And
Richard
4th place.
Swarming over Patel.
This is on board with Jordi Sveers.
Sveers, yep.
Oh, that's Ibrahim Khan going through. The doors open, and to be fair, no contact between the two of them. Nicely covered off. Yeah, I'm assuming there was contact that led to the scenario that we just saw. It's Jimmy Lassen saying thank you for the nice comments, by the way. At least that's what it looks like. The font's very small on TeamSpeak on my other monitor. Jordi, though, holding on to 8th place, slipping and sliding the rear end through the final corner. Fernandez leading Terzic, D'Amelio, Toman, Antonovsky, Williams, Kapamajan, Sveers, Khan and Patel. Big gains for Matt Richards when it comes to the championship as Mikael Smedel's down in 18th place. He may have lost out in race 1, but the same way that it was in race 2 last time, you do well in race 2, and that's where the big points are.
No,
oh,
he's overdone that.
Khan, yeah. Big style.
Is he going to let Matt through? Yep.
Yeah.
Probably the safest thing to do.
Nearly to the side of Patel.
Having done a few unsafe rejoins myself in touring cars, I know what it's like. One of them wasn't my fault. I got punted.
Well, if it was an unsafe rejoin. Oh, yellow flag out in Sector 1. Not sure who that's to. Ibrahim Khan then getting passed as well by Kasper Stolzer and Turka Hakkinen trying to find his way through on the Zansho Simsport driver. The battle between Nita Velix and Zansho Simsport continues. We've seen these two battle it out over the last few years. Obviously, different branding on both sides, different liveries. Now finding their homes in the current cars they're in and with their current lineups. Snaking on that start-finish straight. As you say, it is like the Indy 500. They pull it over to one side, they pull it back, they're trying to break the slipstream. Yellow flag out. Jesper Eriksson out of the race. Chris Shepherd has been off for the final corner. That was the yellow flag in Sector 3. And Alan Terzic closing in on our race leader. Replay, Aidan, talk us through it.
All right, so on board with Smeedle, going through the this little chicane. Oh, he's just overcooked it on the curb, and then that's a boff.
He lifted off the brakes there to try and like not spin entirely. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I think I would have done the same, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just that one is unfortunately fully on him regardless, and I'm sure Turka Hakkinen won't be best pleased, and I'm sure Jimmy Allison won't be best pleased. Well, we'll have a wait and see, because we're still seeing some good racing in various places of the order, including up here at the front. I know nothing has actually happened at the moment, but Ilias Fernandez is dealing with the pressure of the well-experienced Slovenian behind, Alan Terzic. Did say in the previous race, the last race that he did of a feature length, in a sense, obviously it was a very different car being an open wheeler versus a GT, but that last time that he raced at this venue, in this style of format, he was victorious in the feature race after a great drive. Speaking of great drives, Matthew Williams, once again, moving his way up the order. It was a good drive in race 1, 6th place. Looking like a good drive in race 2. Now 4th, back past Yuri Toman. Replay. Let's have a look. This is Jesper Eriksson, and I think it's how he retired from the race on the outside. The Volante driver, I think.
Oh, he did that to himself.
Yeah, I think he just kind of came across. I think it was Paul Augustlana that he was with, and just sort of dropped it across. It was not the best angle for it, but nevertheless, it wasn't the best angle that he entered the barrier in either.
No, but still, I mean, Matthew Williams has clearly had his Weetabix this morning, because he's flying this week.
Yeah, he's doing very, very well. This is the pace potential that we said about, though, in the previous race. Now, the thing is, with Matthew Williams, it must be said, he's done sim racing a fair amount. Used to be teammates with Chris Butcher in a championship where he actually did quite well in open wheelers. Moving himself into GT3s, doing very, very good. We said the pace was good at Sebring, and he is capitalising on that. There is moving back and forth in the order. I think Vlad Tokarev's moving around. I think he's been dropped down the order, because we saw him jumping around. He's now down in 27th and last. Not sure what's happened.
I'm sure Ruben will find out.
I do not envy the replay button that he's got.
that R is.
This is Smeedle's
new keyboard
incident. Let's have a look. Oh,
again.
Why would you squeeze that? That is.
Yeah.
That's on, at least from that angle. Again, I think that one's on Smeedle. He's squeezing into the wall when there's a car there. You can't do that.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, we'll try not to bury it. The thing is, though, is this has been a common thing with what a lot of people have said about certain drivers when it comes to they've got the pace, they've not got the racecraft, they've not got the agility on the race circuit, and it's what can cost you a championship. And at this level, you can't afford to make mistakes like that. Respectfully, to make mistakes like what Matt Richards did in race 1. You don't have the time. It's not a long championship, just 6 rounds. Yes, there's a drop score, but you can't afford to make moves like that. Here's moves. Turka Hakkinen being spun around there.
That's Ibrahim Khan.
And away you go. Yeah, it certainly was. I'm going to have a look at that again, though, because that looks very bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just... It was Ibrahim Khan took too much of the curb and went straight out. That one's on Khan. I would not want to be Turka Hakkinen in this race, and I would not want to be in the dressing room with him afterwards, because he's going to be an angry boy. Especially after such a good first race, Aidan.
Yeah. I think sometimes you can get a bit too much confidence, and I mean, I did it myself in a popular online racing simulator at Monza. I did 3 moves around the outside of the first part of Ascari, and I tried it again on the 4th time, and I stacked it. So
yeah, but the thing is Turka Hakkinen's not been on, at least in my opinion, he's not been on the receiving end of any of the incidents that's happened to him. He's just had terrible luck. He's had Mikael Smeedlin to the side of him into the final corner. He's now had Ibrahim Khan into the side of him into T1.
I mean, that's what I mean. Like, Ibrahim Khan's done so well. That
yeah, he's
probably
just
had
having
that
terrible luck. Bless him, poor lad. After a great first race. Yeah, Turka's a good lad. He's a nice guy.
This is Mark Cruz.
This will be
wide, the track
a retirement. What's he going to do? And how's he going to...
lag.
That's a big lag. I think he's had a pretty severe computer issue in that scenario. Here is 3rd place, Luca D'Amelio. Remember, Zancho Simsport winning the feature race last time out on the hands of Matt Richards, who's currently in 8th place. And Luca D'Amelio who has said that he's committed to the team for the latter part of 2020. There have been sort of, I guess some issues with nailing him down as Alan Terzic just closed into the race lead. He's going around the outside of Ilias Fernandez. That one's not going to work. Woo-hoo-hoo. He gave it a good go, though.
Yeah.
D'Amelio, though, incredible talent. Very so much speed in the tank. He just needs to sort of nail down and just get his head down and get into a championship properly and really stick to it, because he has got the pace to do some big things in sim racing, and he is showing that he can do it.
There we go, another snake heading through turns 1, 2 and 3 here. Up to the hairpin of turn 4. It's a great camera shot, that.
Certainly is. All flying it through the effectively the train for 14th place. For 14th place it still is, because Mikael Smedel under pressure from Rory McDuff, the American. Paul Auguste Lana. This is on board with Hemmingson, with Patel ahead. Oh, that was a bit of a slide there from McDuff, with Lana behind, who's completely missed the apex of the final corner. He's not going to be able to make a run into T1, but making a run into T1, I think the American of McDuff will be able to do so. I think Smedel might be able to cover that one off. This is with Alan Terzic defending from D'Amelio. Matthew Williams behind. Capamajan ready to pounce. Capamajan, a great drive as well. Third in race 1. Now 5th at the moment after the series' biggest penalty thus far. That was way too much curb there from Rory McDuff on the inside. Paul Auguste Lana was nearly looking for it, and he's got Turk Hagen as well behind. Big slide there from McDuff again. He's struggling with tyres. We're only 15 minutes really into this race, and he's already struggling with the rear end of that car. And we saw what happened in race 1 with McDuff, with a large drop into the final chicane. Here's a replay. Talk us through it, Aidan.
Right, so this is going to be the Ibrahim Khan incident. Oh, yeah, too much curb. Bang. Oh, that might be suspension damage for Turka Hakkinen. But going back to the whole losing the rear end thing, we saw the same thing happen to Drillers Esports in the GT3 Endurance Series on Saturday evening. So maybe car related.
Oh, Terzic has got it. Terzic already in the slipstream. Bravo. The driver in the final corner must have been fantastic there for Alan Terzic, who now heads to the front of the field. 31 minutes left on the clock. And Terzic is out front for Jean Lacey Esports Academy in the unfavoured Ferrari. One of only 3 Ferraris inside the top 10. They are doing well in the feature race. You are calling it. They say they struggle in the race. This is what I mean. The practice doesn't line up. Because for all intents and purposes, the Ferrari, well, even then, even the drivers that have tested the Ferrari versus the Callaway say the Ferrari should not be good when it comes to the race. It does burn out its front tyres quicker than the Callaway does. At the same time, that's not what we're seeing when it comes to the racing, when it comes to actually balancing through racing. That Ferrari is pretty decent.
They might also have a front row seat for when the BOP gets applied as well.
Absolutely. The BOP is supposed to be arriving after this round. Alan Terzic will now have to get defensive. We look at Stolzer, who's defending from Khan. Their focus should return to the front of the field, as it does. This time, Ilias Fernandez is trying to get the move down. Oh, he's committed on the brakes. He's trying to go. He's going straight on. He is going straight on. Oh, that's silly from him. Oh, Matt Williams. Oh, that's a shame for Matthew Williams. Matt Richards is
loving this.
That was... To say that was unbelievably predictable would be an understatement.
I said, please don't crash.
It's a shame, because that's potentially thrown in the air what could have been a great battle for the lead, and a great race so far from the drivers like Matthew Williams here at the Portland International Raceway. Things were going quite well. Now Williams is going to get past from. Luis Philippe Capamajan is trying to get past. He turned in there. Oh, he's floored it. Be careful, Jordi. Be careful.
I can't watch.
That was dodgy from Capamajan, in my opinion. He should give up that position up, because Jordi was there. He only skipped it because Capamajan turned in. He doesn't need to give it up, though, because Jordi... Oh, that's a late move. That's too late. That is a reactionary move. And now he's coming back across Jordi. Oh, my goodness me. 60 seconds time, but it's clearly not enough for Capamajan. Oh, no, he's going to push Jordi. Oh, Jordi's fears is having a heart attack here. There's the flash of the lights to Capamajan. He is on board with Matthew Williams, and we're going to see what he saw when Ilias Fernandez took a spin. And here he comes, slowing down.
Bonk.
I don't think he could quite see it from his angle. I'm assuming he's driving from cockpit, and it may have been obscured from the car ahead, and he wouldn't have really seen the car spinning in the foreground. That's a shame for Matthew Williams. Hopefully the car's not too damaged. He's down in 7th place. He may well have a damaged car. Paulie Honin, and that's Turka Hakkinen. Rory McDuff, Paul Augustin are all in this battle further down the order. Focus on the left-hand side with Jordi Sveers on the back of Louis-Philippe Capamajan, who I think he's going to get a pretty large slap on the wrist, because I know what Jimmy Allison's opinion is when it comes to reactionary defending, and that is exactly what that was. It is extremely dangerous, and you do not like to see it.
This is why I run the crew chief app, so I know there's when people are still on the inside outside of me.
And Capamajan gave room there. Capamajan did give room. Now sliding it through. There's a little bit of a brush of contact, but Jordi Sveers up to 4th place. Great drive. And there's the boff from Capamajan. Fantastic. He's going to try and dive it into there, but Jordi sees it coming and covers it off to the inside through the 90 degrees right-hander. And the drive off the corner should favour the Ferrari. Yellow flag out as Timotej Antonovski, after a great drive. He is not getting the 4th place that we said statistically he should be getting. 16th is all he's got. It's not going well for Antonovski.
Had pole position the other night though at Silverstone. So we know he's got clearly got speed, but he's just not having a great time out there right now.
Indeed. Well, it looks like it could be a second consecutive feature race victory for Zancho Simsport as Luca D'Amelio starts his charge towards a top flight victory here in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series powered by VCO. D'Amelio looking for a victory, the Italian, on the back of Alan Terzic. These are two drivers that have got very differing careers when it comes to their sim racing. One of them, a driver that's been in sim racing for quite a long time, and in that time has been at the front, has dropped out of sim racing for a little bit, has returned with all of the speed and more of what he previously had, but maybe not quite the consistency, who is refining his form. Then you've got Luca D'Amelio, definitely one of the stars of the future. The pace is absolutely there with the Italian, and signed in with Zancho Simsport, a great team for him to be a part of, a large team for him to be a part of. He's got a lot of help to move him forward when it comes to extracting the most out. Race engineers and that such behind the scenes. Of course, we've said before with the likes of Nick Dealey behind the scenes, really pushing buttons to make this car go as quick as possible. And D'Amelio is making it go as quick as possible.
Yeah, working with Nick Dealey in the past, his weapons grade sarcasm really does give you an extra 0.5 of a second.
And
as we now see Capamajan,
that's going straight on.
Too deep again. Here goes Matt Richards for 5th, maybe.
He's certainly trying to find it. He's through.
Oh, no, Matt.
No. Good catch from Matt Richards. That was. I'm sure there'll be further expletives there from Matt. He won't be too happy with Capamajan in that one. Definitely coming across, and this is on board with Matt Richards, so we can get a good angle of it. So Jordi to the outside.
Blocking, wasn't it?
Yeah, so this is it. You can just see the rubbing between the two. I'm not sure who actually came across in that one, because it looked like they kind of came into each other. But it was the reactionary defence from Capamajan that I think is the thing that really needed to be looked at in that scenario. The slipstream, is it going to work for the Zancho Callaway?
Not from there, I don't think.
No, me neither. I think he's a little bit too far back to try and attempt anything. It should be easy to cover off from Alan Terzic, even if he does get there into T1. 25 minutes left on the clock. Yellow flag out in sector 3. I think it might be Nick Jacobs falling down the order. It is again. Nick Jacobs off in the gravel trap. Mohammed Patel getting by on Matthew Williams. Definite some. Obviously, it was a hard hit, so I was hoping there wasn't going to be too bad damage on the Stax Racing Callaway, but unfortunately, it appears that is not the case. Definitely the most colourful car on the grid. That of Matt Williams.
I think he has literally every colour on that car.
Certainly does. It's nice to see a car with that colour, because everyone's. I'm gonna.
Too many white bonnets for my liking.
A lot of people take a lot of muted colours when it comes to sim racing liveries. We all take it far too seriously, me included. And it's nice to see a bright livery every now and then. You sometimes need just one or two. You don't need everyone to do it, because if everyone did it, it'd become boring, wouldn't it? You don't want it to become the norm. But it's nice to see the odd one every now and then. And to be fair, I'm going to say this. I think both GT Challenge and GT Pro have some very high quality liveries.
Yeah, now the new materials have come out to allow for the sort of metallic blue. You can see that on that Zancho car, and the
blacks and stuff. Yeah.
the Ajira racing car in VEC that actually changes colour.
Mikhail Smedel with on the right-hand side of your screen. Mikhail Smedel is in 17th place. It is not the race for our championship leader. 3 consecutive podiums, now outside of the top 15 in this race. It is not the round for Smedel. This championship has absolutely been blown open with one race. We're not even halfway through it yet, and I don't get the feeling that Smedel is going to be marching to the front anytime soon, because he is definitely struggling. We're on board with Paul August Lana on the right-hand side, who's eyeing up a move on our championship leader. But D'Amelio on the left-hand side trying to get his victory.
Yeah, Matt Richards has been overtaken by Ibrahim Khan now, but Khan's not going to just let him through because Richards is higher up in the championship. Even though these guys are racing as teams, there's still that individual aspect there as well.
Well, there is no... This is the thing, right? We've said this before, is that, yes, they are in teams. You know, there are teams in this. There's Prodon defending, and Mikhail Smedel trying to find any way through at the moment.
That car is battered.
It is, fairly, to be fair. I think a few cars... Oh, what a... I was going to say, see ya. Here comes the door open for Lana, who's down the inside of Mikhail Smedel. It was a good catch from Donat Prodan. And through the 90 degrees right-hand corner. Oh, it's a good drive from Smedel, though, into the chicane. There should be a move. He's going to have to pick the outside through this long, curving back stretch. Oh, that's
There's going to be another accident here.
That's a reactionary defence. Which way Smedel going to go? He breaks out of it. I'm not sure the the race briefing got through to everyone. On board with a replay. This is what happened to Nick Jacobs through the final chicane. He's just going to lose it. Maybe overdo it. Yeah. Just took too much curve a little bit, and maybe didn't drop off the speed enough when it came to turning in for that final part of the race circuit. Luca D'Amelio, by the way, is applying all of the pressure. He is very, very close to the back of Alan Terzic for this race lead. Just 0.3 of a second separated him on the previous lap, and Yuri Toman, see you, Paul August Lana. There's a lot of Volante cars back there. Race lead, 0.4 of a second. They're 2 seconds, 1.5 seconds clear of Yuri Toman as well behind, so there could be potential for another Vargas Sim Racing victory. Is important to note, it would be a first win in the category. I mean, for pretty much everyone, because we do have a very new grid here for Season 2. There aren't many drivers on the grid that actually have a victory in this series. I think it's just 2 at the moment.
It is.
I don't think anyone else took
Matt.
I don't think anyone else took a victory on the grid, because there are a few drivers that were in last season, but I don't think any of the ones that were in last season took a victory last season.
No, because Mike Epps isn't in this one anymore, is he?
Is that Mike Epps?
He told me off for saying that.
Yeah. That's too easy to do, though, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, when the meme's there, if you no longer go for meme that exists...
Oh, don't say that. Do not say that. Most in a sense that you would kind of you'd guess, most of the people that were winning races last season ended up going up to GT Pro courtesy of being said, whoa, what a moment there from Alan Terzic. Did you see that on the right hand side of your screen? Holy wow, that was close.
I think that's what they would call a code brown.
That may well have just been a little bit of an optical illusion out of the corner of my eye, but I'm pretty sure he took a little bit too much curve there, and at such high speed, especially with the run through the final corner, you can't really afford to make a mistake there of all places. I think the front tyres on... was that Philippe Capamachan and Jordi Sveers going side by side again? Yes, it is. Sveers holding on to 4th place. Louis-Philippe Capamachan, who are currently on board with here for RPM Esports, was trying to find his way through. I think briefly did get through and up into 4th place. It wasn't to be. There is a driver ahead of this, though. I think it's the DX Droids car of Ilias Fernandez, who had the pace, obviously, to battling for the lead earlier on this race, who is a lap down. So there is actually another car in this mix. Here comes Louis-Philippe Capamachan. Oh, 2 laps down. My goodness. That race really has unfolded for him. Hold on, though, Jordi Sveers. At least for now.
D'Amelio just 0.3 of a second behind Terzic. It's going to be close into turn 1 here.
It certainly is. the slipstream certainly going to try and favour. I don't think it's going to be quite close enough. We can see that one coming through in the foreground, and it's not quite close enough. This is with Louis-Philippe Capamajan, who's with Jordi Sveers. Yellow flag out in sector.
Rory.
Rory McDuff's dropped it again. The corner that binned him in the previous race. I wonder if that's by himself or with the assistance of someone else. Down to 18th place. He was in 13th. Oh, as we cut away, Louis-Philippe Capamajan has dropped down from 5th to 8th. Now, was this courtesy of an incident between himself and Jordi Sveers? Was Ibrahim Khan a part of all of that? Jordi Sveers has dropped off a little bit, so I'm pretty sure something has happened.
I'm sure...
The R key again is being smashed.
Yeah.
He's finding it.
He's going to be invoicing Marcel for a new keyboard at this rate.
He was trying to, I'm sure, he was trying to get a slow-mo, a sick slow-mo shot of Alan Terzic. But unfortunately, other worries now. Two Zancho drivers now coming up. Ibrahim Khan, Matt Richards coming up to the back of Jordi Sveers. And it's going to be Ibrahim Khan who's going to have to head to the outside. This is with Luca D'Amelio trying to fight for that lead battle. Here's Ibrahim Khan to the outside. We've not seen this work. Why are people trying this? Oh my goodness me. It's so risky, especially with your teammate behind. It's so unbelievably risky to try it. There's not enough grip out there.
I think Khan's already potentially looking at a penalty for an earlier incident, so yeah.
Here we go. There's the slow-mo. See? Right.
Nice.
Quite a lot of one curb. Smashes it over. You did see him getting pretty sideways there in that slow-mo, must be said. We've got side-by-side. This is Matt Richards, who's got by Ibrahim Khan. I think he was let through. And in that time, has got the overspeed. He's got the inside through the chicane. Who's going to back out? No one. Oh, it is Matt Richards. He plays fair, backs out of it, and Ibrahim Khan decides that he's going to go touring car action when it comes to the track limits, firing it all over left and right.
It's all happening tonight, isn't it?
It certainly is. Good drive from Sancho Simsport as well. 2nd, 5th, and 6th.
Hashtag not biased.
Hashtag no bias indeed. We've had a fair amount of Nick Jacobs on the broadcast, so Ruben's getting his fair share. We might as well have some.
He showed his own driver crashing. So.
Oh, this is what happened. So Ibrahim Khan. Oh, so that's why Matt Richards got involved. That's not good.
Yeah.
That was a pretty silly dive from Ibrahim Khan, and I'm not sure the second part of it would have been looked on too proudly by Jordi Sveers either. Oh, we are seeing messy action once again. I'm sure...
there's another 16.5 minutes of this.
The thing is, right, we're saying this. There is some doing stuff. It is a hard track to race at, fair enough, but that's not an excuse in my opinion.
No.
And they are hard cars to drive. Again, not an excuse in my opinion. But what must be said is there are drivers on the grid, and it is the majority in this sense that are driving quite well. It is the minority that are making it. So we're only saying this against the minority. So for anyone sat there being like, "Oh, the whole grid drives rubbish," no, they don't.
No.
Because look at this between the top two. They have been close. There has been some maybe attempts here and there, but at the moment, nothing's happened bad. Alan Terzic has been driving well. D'Amelio, Toman, Sveers, fair enough, whatever.
Not again, Matt.
He's learning. It's all right. He's only been in sim racing for a decade. It's fine. He does come good in the features. What could have happened though, if he didn't mess up the sprint race?
Yeah, he'd probably be looking at top of the table right now.
I mean, he still might be looking at the top of the table, minding on his positions.
Yeah, Smeagol really not doing well down there in 16th.
He's got damage on that car for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if his steering wheel's pointing the wrong way a little bit.
And I'm going to be harsh here.
Uh-oh.
He has damage on his car through faults of his own. Casper Stolzer has got by on Ibrahim Khan, by the way. And
Khan looks like he's got damage as well then.
6th place. Again, through his own mistakes, realistically. He is the one who has
that damage.
It is what it is. If you're prepared to make those dives and get the damage from making contact, for one, not the series for you. Take on some touring car racing and get your hands dirty in that.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. These are not the cars to be doing it in there. Expensive, high, fast-powered GT3 cars. Not the ideal touring car. We might see that in Germany, though. Louis-Philippe Capamajan, let's see what happened to him. He heads to the outside of the John Lacey Esports. It's way too fast. See you, lad. That was so fast into there. My goodness me. I think he thought he was in a DW12. Wrong series.
If he was in the DW12, he'd use the chicane.
Yeah. It would not have been going that quick. The thing is, that is a thing. It is an important note that most of the times that people race here at the Portland International Raceway, we do race with that chicane. So that run into T1 is so incredibly fast in comparison to normal. Louis-Philippe Capamajan, by the way, has gone through on Ibrahim Khan. Ibrahim Khan is struggling quite a bit here. He's now down to 8th place. What was looking so good for Zancho is looking slightly less rosy, but it may be turned around by this man, Luca Di Melio, the young Italian on the back of Alan Terzic, not going through. He lifted out. Why would he lift out at this this late stage in the race? We've got 2/3 of the race done. He's on the back. That was a prime opportunity to at least have a look, to at least have a chin. And I think he had the overspeed to draw fairly alongside with Alan Terzic. 2 questions in that. Why did Alan Terzic not defend? Why did Luca Di Melio not attack? I think there's either a very good understanding between the two, or we've got some inter-team play happening, which I don't think's happening, but I'm just trying to spice it up a little bit. I actually don't know why.
Luke is going to John and Lazy Esports. Is that what you're trying to?
No, I won't know. So I won't know. No, I don't think that's happening.
Shall we get Ed Trevelyan and Johnson on for an interview to find out?
No, Luca Di Melio is not leaving Zancho, I don't think. It's certainly not going to John Lacey Esports Academy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a little baffled by that one. You want a victory at this level?
Matt's past Yordi.
That is past Yordi, and he's having to defend it. We'll try and grab a replay as to where that happened. I think it might have been to the final chicane. Here comes Yordi, the outside of T1. Oh, I don't fancy that one. Oh, he's too quick. He's way too quick in. There was a bit of a boff there from Matt Richards, though. They were both overdoing it into T1. They were both quite lucky to not go on, but there was a bit of contact there on the exit of the corner, which might well be looked at. This is the thing, is through all the contact that's happened throughout the race, these drivers are going to be having a little bit of red mist, and that doesn't bode well when it comes to the final 12 minutes and 15 seconds of this race.
Where do you even look? Right
like I say, we've had some good races. We've had some good drives. The drivers at the front definitely putting in a performance. You know, GT Pro laps that we're seeing at the front of the field. Terzic, Di Melio are doing very, very well, and Yuri Toman is dragging himself into contention for the victory. Louis-Philippe Capamajan and Kasper Stolzer, 6th place. The battle continues. Of course, this is a thing. You may have teams and stuff. You've always got friendships and stuff, as Alistair Long's saying. They are good friends, Luca and Alan. Here's Matt Richards, and here's that move on Yordi.
That's brave.
Whew. Oh, and he did it as well. I was like, surely someone's going straight on here. That's how we do it, lads. That is how we do it. Bravo. Now, let's take a recording of that and show it to the rest of the grid and be like, can we start doing this more often, please? I don't want to see. I mean, if we had that livery that I was saying about before, where you take all of the paint from all of the other cars that you've hit this season and put it on your car, we are going to see a very colourful grid come the end of the season.
Well, we've had Phil Krause in chat say, do it for Dale.
Yeah, absolutely. Ibrahim Khan.
On Mo Patel.
It's Ibrahim Khan backwards even further. That damage. As I say, it's come of his own volition, but he might be moving outside of the top 10 come the checkered flag, because behind him, David Serra will be the next one to reach, and then realistically, Martin Hemmingson not too far behind.
This is not going to work.
He's trying to move it back up the order. He's got Rory McDuff, who's been in the incidents himself. 17th place, had an incident at the final corner. Yet another one. Pace from McDuff, very differing from round to round. He was quite good in race 2 last time out. This round been a little bit disappointing, especially in comparison to his teammate, who put in such an impressive performance in race 1. Seeming like there's quite a large pace deficit between the two Nita Felix drivers. They could be joined by a third one of Herman Stocky in the next round. We'll find out more from Split 2 once this race has completed, and we'll see what is going on elsewhere in the GT Challenge Series. Here's the battle with Louis-Philippe Capamajan and Kasper Stolzer. That's 6th place for Capamajan.
That's a good move.
Done. Yeah, nicely done. Didn't try to force it around the outside, did he? They're learning, Aiden.
They'll have
It's
learned with
taken them 2 hours.
6 seconds left on the clock. It'll be fine. Oh, here we go. Smeedle on Williams.
Oh,
Easy as you like.
That car of Williams is pretty toasted.
Oh, it's just got served up by Rory.
Yeah, I think it was a touch of contact there from McDuff on the rear end of Williams' car. I don't think he'll be too pleased. The round has not worked out for him. This is with Chris Shepherd as to why he has retired from the race through the final chicane. And very similar to McDuff's crash in race 1. Too much speed entering. I think plenty of damage on the car that's making it extremely tricky to drive. And the only thing that's going to greet him is the barrier.
With the front suspension,
as well,
with the
I'm joking.
With the front suspension caved in, you can still drive it, but the rear suspension, you might as well just hit escape there and then.
Yeah, because the thing is if you're front suspension, you get basically just a boatload of understeer on whichever corner it is. When it's rear suspension, you get really, really unpredictable and vicious oversteer. And it will go from being perfectly fine, like, because obviously how it would bend and stuff. When you're driving and you kind of turn in, it will go from being absolutely fine to being like, whoa, and gone in the click of a finger. This is McDuff. This will be the contact. So it's Williams on the outside there and dropping back in line. McDuff maybe not expecting the speed. Oh, no. It was a very light brush.
Yeah.
It was a very, very light brush. I don't think Rory could have predicted that Williams was going to go straight on like that. And is that... Oh, I thought it was D'Amelio then. It's Matt Richards with Spheres battling it out again. It's hard seeing one John Lacey Esports battling out with the Zancho and then seeing it happen elsewhere on the grid as well. It is half a second between our top two in the race. Less so between these two as Jordi Veers is going to go to the outside of Matt Richards into turn 1. He's got the overspeed and potentially track position, but it's got to take a brave man to go around the outside of there. There's the touch of contact between the two. He's trying to hang it all the way around the outside. And if he can make this one stick all the way around here, he's got the inside for the left-hander at 3. And I think he may well have done so. He was far enough ahead that he could try and go around the outside. Now to the cutback, the switch back to the outside. Matt Richards has been passed, wasn't able to do anything into the tight right-hander at T4, and Jordi Veers, that was a quality move and decent respect between the two. Again, what we like to see, these two showing how it should be done.
Yeah, there's a bit of bumping and barging, but it was all within limits of what is acceptable in these cars, because
exactly
a little bit of nudging is fine, but absolutely firing into each other from 300 yards further back than is necessary, then yeah, it's not going to happen. Jordi Veers putting one on Ibrahim Khan there for... Oh, hang on, we look at the same picture twice. Oh,
so
watching the
right-hand
replay.
side is the replay on board with Jordi. That was very confusing. Thanks, Ruben. Very confusing. He's now just like, fine, we'll get off of it then. God, can't please anyone, can you? That was a good move, though, from Jordi, and hats off to him. And hats off to Matt Ridge. Yes, again, a little bit of rubbing, but that's okay. We can see a little bit, but it's bumping. Look at how done that Ferrari is. It is absolutely gone. They're going to need to get the hammers out to repair both of those. Cars that aren't damaged, though, the top two, and once again, separated by very, very little. In this race, but both cars looking absolutely glistening. Yellow flag out. Antonovsky's gone. He's gone with suspension as well. Must be a big oof there. We'll try and get a replay of that. Oh no, Matt Richards!
No,
Matt!
He's let him go.
He may.
He's given him a sorry flash as well. Just the one flash.
He won't try and go for a move here, I don't think, will Matt. I think he'll just sit behind. Yeah, see, there you go. Because he knows that he's gained advantage, and if he tries to make a move into T1, it'll get reported, etc., etc. So he's gone, no, do you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to hold my hands up. And again, respect to Matt Richards. He's not going to try and take advantage, at least for the first little bit here. Once we've passed about now the race is back on. If there is an opportunity, he will go for it. Let's have a look on a replay as to what's happened. Here's a better one. This is how we can see what happened between Jordi and Matt Richards. And we can see that commitment from the Dutchman, the Flying Dutchman to the outside, Jean Lacey Esports Academy. That is an Oarchi move. Fantastic stuff around the outside. Leaves it with the inside at 3. Just misses the apex
fantastic
slightly.
Racing.
Brilliant stuff there from Jordi Veers. Nice work. Again, that's how it should be done. And again, you must be saying that the passee as well also has to do as much work as the passer in that scenario. It's about understanding when to give it up and when it's done and how much room to give.
He's dropped a spot to Campamagian.
I think he Maybe had another mistake in all of that. Maybe into the hairpin. And Kapamajan is also trying to get through on Yordi. He's closing in. 4/10 separates our race lead. 4 minutes and 13 seconds left on the clock. I wonder if there is going to be the opportunity for Luca Di Melio to try and fire it through, or maybe we're gonna throw something out. I am anyway. We're gonna throw something else into the mix, which obviously isn't what's happening. But why not? You got to play devil's advocate every now and then and try and spice some stuff up. Oh, as Kapamajan tries to go to the outside of Jordi Zwiers as they cut back onto the back stretch. What if Luca Di Melio is trying to let a Ferrari win, so the Ferrari gets BOP'd as hard as the Callaway? He's trying to see you can win in a Ferrari. Probably not, but nevertheless, Matt Richards, Philippe Kapamajan wasn't able to get through on Jordi Zwiers there as Matt Richards defending from Kasper Stolzer. Let's have a look. Another replay. Aidan, talk us through it.
Right, so Kapamajan behind Matt Richards here.
Richards
just lost it on power. And Kapamajan's just... All right,
that was a good dive.
That's a good send.
That was a good dive. And well spotted as well from Matt Richards. Speaking of good sends, here we go to the outside of T1. Oh, he's not far enough alongside. He is going to try and draw it, though, as Matt Richards has been passed by Kasper Stolzer behind. There's contact between the two, and Kasper Stolzer maybe just pinching a little bit too much. Gains 6th position. Matt Richards down to 7th. Whoa. It is tight. It is tight stuff. Louis-Philippe Kapamajan. Oh, no, he's hit Jordi. Oh, that's bad. He just tried to do the cutback. That's not very good. And Louis-Philippe Kapamajan goes to 4th place in not so great moments. That isn't an arch move. Don't panic. That wasn't on Jordi. He's that's a shame. That's a shame. Just basically a complete misjudgment from Philippe Kapamajan. And I'm sure, considering some of the driving that he might do, he might be getting a big slap on the wrist. 60-second time penalty he got from the previous round. Let's have a look on board with Louis-Philippe Kapamajan. Probably one of the final replays we're going to get. You'll see him just...
Bang!
No, that's not acceptable. That is not acceptable.
That is I think that's what they call in the industry a punt.
That is not
That's going to be penalised. That's going to be penalised big on top of what he's already got.
Yeah, that is very much not okay, unfortunately. And Philippe Kapamajan will drop behind Stolzer, Richards, Zwiers, and probably quite a lot of other drivers else on this grid. The series will not be finalised after round 2, and the drivers moving down to split 2, the drivers moving up from split 2 into split 1, not going to be finalised until those points are official, once the stewarding has gone through and has applied the penalties as such. Kasper Stolzer defending from Matt Richards with Louis-Philippe Kapamajan up ahead. I think he's gone far enough not to come under threat over the final minute and a half of this race. A couple of laps to go. A couple more laps at the front of the field from Alan Terzic. That opportunity that Luca Di Melio had earlier in the race, where he kind of didn't try anything, I think may well have been the only opportunity he's going to get in this race. So curious as to why he didn't take it. I'm sure we'll find out after the race, having a chat after the broadcast and stuff with some of these drivers to find out actually what was going on in certain scenarios. I'm sure some drivers will be happy, some drivers will not. Oh,
Matt.
Matty, boy. Like, heart in mouth moments from a lot of these drivers. Right, I want a pound for every driver that blames the circuit after this as well. As we're on board. Oh, that's Paulo Giuslano going around the outside of Miguel Smeedel at T1. Oh, it might just work as well. There's the contact between the two. And Smeedel, 12th place, nearly getting dived again from Paulo Giuslano. And Rory McDuff basically looking there with a bit of dribble coming out of his mouth, considering that there is a potential move for him if anything happens. Drooling at the prospect of some gained positions, maybe not the ones he would have wanted to fight over. 1 lap to go in the race. Alan Terzic leads by 0.7 of a second. These two have been class of the field, by the way, at the front. They've pulled away from Jiri Toman. It's been 3 seconds over the last few laps. Have absolutely cleared off. Incredible stuff from those two. Through where the chicane is, normally on the circuit, they fly. And Matt Richards trying to find any which way to get through on Kasper Stolzer. There is no opportunity there. It will most likely be a top 5 for these drivers, but we'll only wait and see once all of it is done. Deep breaths for everyone as they try and find their way through. Front of the field, though, we must go, as coming up to the final chicane, Alan Terzic He has been fantastic in that Ferrari. Luca De Melio as well in that Callaway. He is doing it for Denty once again. And as he comes out of the final corner, Alan Terzic is going to win here in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series Season 2. What a drive from the Ferrari. And it is Ferrari on top. As we head out of the Pacific Northwest, Luca De Melio and Yuri Toman round out the podium. Controversial drives from behind. But for the top lot, you cannot deny that was section perfection from Alan Terzic.
Yeah, I think once Alan got in front, that was a done deal. He was going to win it because we know how good he is and how brilliant he's been in that Ferrari. He's doing the celebratory drift through turn 2 there. And Luca De Melio, very good second place, but Stolzer making 9 places up over the course of that race. Richard 7 places over the course of the race. Mo Patel up 8, and Rory McDuff managed to gain 13 by the end, so he's managed to sort of repair the damage sustained in race 1.
You do get the feeling that quite a lot of that was because there was a lot of boffs going on, considering
That's
he was
also
backwards
true, yeah.
at the final chicane, and he moved up to 14th place in a field as strong as this. Shows that I think a few drivers need to take a good long look at themselves and consider what they're doing in this series. Alan Terzic, victor of the race from Luca De Melio and Yuri Toman, our podium. Louis-Philippe Capamajan and Kasper Stolzer rounding out the top 5 with Matt Richards, Jordi Veers, Mohamed Patel, David Serra and Ibrahim Khan behind. What that top 10 will look like post-penalties, though, I have no idea, because I'm pretty sure it's not going to look like that. Outside of that, Turka Hakkinen, Mikael Smeedel, Paul August Lana, Rory McDuff and Paulia Honan, our top 15. Nick Jacobs with Matthew Williams. Such a shame for him after a great opener and a great race 1. Donat Prodan, Roman Jakubovic in a Porsche. Further down the order, as with Jan Vennegar, who will be departing split 1 down to split 2. After this, one of the drivers that we're absolutely sure will be going down with Matteo Caruso. Who else will join them? Unfortunately, we don't have the points directly up for you to find out who's doing it. I wonder if we can get points. I don't know if Ruben's got that one programmed. We'll never know. Probably not. He's a busy boy. He's had a lot of replays to show us. Vlad Tokarev, Andrea Terzi, Martin Hemmingson and Ilias Fernandez, our final finishers. A shame for Ilias Fernandez as well. Timotei Andonovski, Chris Shepard and Jesper Eriksson. 3 retirements in race 1, 3 retirements in race 2. Aidan, it was a crazy race.
That's an understatement. I think Jimmy's going to have a long night ahead of him. Well, he probably won't be sorting out the penalties tonight because he's got things to do.
It's a long night. It's a long week.
Long week ahead of him for the next one. But yeah, some of these drivers are going to get something for some of the driving standards. At the risk of being too opinionated, it hasn't been good enough tonight.
Yeah, to be fair, like we've said, there have been drivers on the grid that have showed great drives throughout the first 2 rounds of the season. There have been others that very much need to take a look. Obviously, not enough was learnt from the penalties of round 1, and they do need to take a look at it. And I'm sure after this, the stewarding will be as harsh, if not a little bit harsher, when we move into Virginia. And once we find out which 5 drivers depart, which 5 drivers move up, of the 5 moving up, a reminder that we will be just jumping in to split 2 in a moment to find out what is happening in that category. The 5 drivers coming into the round that were looking for promotion: Herman Stocky, Miguel de los Rios, Jack McIntyre, Jack Noller and Paul Holt. The drivers that are looking to move up in that session. But of course, after race 1, that championship order is going to be a little bit topsy-turvy. And you never know how Portland's going. Look at how it went in split 1. Imagine that in split 2 as well.
I don't want to think about it, to be honest. But yeah, we've probably got about 10 or 15 seconds before we do cut across, and just to see the final 5 minutes or so of that race, just to see where those drivers Lewis just named are going to end up.
You didn't remember, did you? Oh, unacceptable.
It's quicker to say that my mum's watching this.
My mum definitely
here we
isn't.
go.
She doesn't care.
Here we go. We're into split 2. Right. Miguel de los Rios, well, number 1.
Leading away from Jack McIntyre of Sancho fame. And the thing is with Jack McIntyre, he is also inside the top 5. Didn't have a great race 1. Finished a little bit further down the order. I think it was 7th place. He ended in 8th place in race 1 that we've got as Jack McIntyre finished. But those 2 looking very, very good to be moving up into split 1. Where is Herman Stocky in 6th place? So for those 3, it's looking pretty good for a moving up. As to the other ones, though, we'll have to wait and see. Dan Kell under pressure, another Zancho SimSport driver, finished 9th in race 1, currently in 4th place, could be moving into a potential position to move into split 1. He was not confident coming into this round. He doesn't have his gloves. He normally races with gloves on his Fanatec wheel.
Yeah, with the DD wheel, you kind of need gloves, don't you?
You do need gloves. He goes back to his parents' house in North Yorkshire, and then goes back to university, and in Bolton, and he's left his gloves at home. He's not taken them, and that's exactly why he's about to be overtaken. Oh, you don't like to see that. He's going to overdo it. He's going to overdo it. Surely he's going to overdo it. DX Droids there, just overdoing T1. Marado. Yeah, there's the thing. There's a lot more cars in split 2. Yeah, you've got some McLarens, you've got some Corvettes, you've got some BMWs. This is what we want to see. Oh, big dive there from Dan Kell. That's a tourist.
He's got that back
on the inside of Edamorado. Behind this as well.
I can just imagine the words he's saying.
Lap down.
Oh, okay. Quite a big boy, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it's a big boy. It's a BMW, mate. It's Herman Stocky in that the NV Callaway behind that's defending from the McLaren of Marquez. Very mixed field here. Miguel de los Rios, though, looking for his 2nd victory of the night. Had 2 podiums back in Sebring. Looking to make it 4 podiums in a row and 2 victories in split 2, and confirm himself to move up to split 1. And with the pace that he's showing, could be a contender. Further up, we saw drivers move up from split 1 to split 2, from split 2 to split 1 last season. Mike Epps, for example, and win races.
Yeah, Epps won it in the first attempt, near enough. He won the feature race at Imola, battling with Michi Hoyer, went up to GT Pro that year.
Well, Matthew Beavis, who moved up from split 1, finished inside the top 10 in the championship. So it is very, very possible. The likes of P11, by the way, Georgi Nadev, moved up from split 2 to split 1 last season. He didn't do it in the first crossover, but did do it in the second. So keep an eye on him coming into round 4 of the championship. Of course, here in GT Challenge Season 2, same as it was with Season 1, every 2 rounds there is a promotion and relegation between all splits. So the top 5 of one split will move up to the next one, and the bottom 5 will move down. A bit further down the order, close battles between Kurtzen and Jack Noller. Jack Noller was one that was up there in the top 5 of the championship. That's why we focus on him. How did his race 1 go? Not good. 18th place, 19th in this one. That is not good enough to move himself up. Teammate of Louis-Philippe Capamajan, and I don't think we're going to see 2 RPM Esports drivers in split 1.
Split screen as we see Andy Kurtzen in 18th place, heading towards turn 1, while Alejandro Enamorado still chasing down Dan Kell for 4th position. Goes a bit wide through this long back stretch, totally flat out, very long right-hander. You can see one of the Nita Velox cars closing in behind as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That is Herman Stocky, who is looking good for promotion as well. Won the first race of the season, podium in the second one, and podium earlier today as well. He's not going to get his 4th consecutive podium, but it is looking pretty good to see 3 Nita Velox cars in split 1 come the next round. Belton's Scuderia Leone in 3rd place. This is a driver that, of course, our broadcast director would very much like to promote. Not had a great open to the season as far as I can see. And no way through at the moment. Trying to get Jack McIntyre, who's in a great spot at the moment when it comes to his potential promotion. McIntyre having won the previous feature race in split 2. 50 seconds left on the clock. So for our top lot, they will do 1 further lap. Oh, Velton's to the inside of McIntyre coming into the final chicane. This is for the runner-up spot. Oh, Arjen Velton's backing out of it just as he really needed to on McIntyre. Wasn't quite alongside. Good defence there from Dan Kell on the inside of Enamorado into T1. Oh, as we've got a Merc here for Rookie Monsters, battling it out with a Ferrari as well. Seeing some fantastic stuff further down the order as well in split 2.
Not often you see a Mercedes battling with a Ferrari in 2020, but that's great to see. As we see, Ian Velton's still chasing down Jack McIntyre for second place. Enamorado on the other side, Sancho on both sides of your screen. And then back to Juan Carlos Fernandez with DX Droids following his teammate through. Just trying to keep it nice and clean. Oh, Kel's made a mistake here. No, sorry, not Kel, McIntyre. And through goes Veltins for Scooter Leone. Is McIntyre going to fight back as the clock has now expired?
Certainly has. And coming through the final corner for DX Droids, confirming his way up into split one with obviously instant reports to come. Miguel de los Rios takes his victory, second of the evening as they cross the line. De los Rios takes victory from Velton's McIntyre on the podium with Kel Enamorado rounding out the top 5. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see which drivers move their way up. When it gets confirmed, we'll obviously bring in the details when we come into the next round in a couple of weeks' time. But Abreu on board with. Let's have a look on a replay and see what we've got. This is McIntyre and Veltons and how that move happened. Oh, big send. The hashtag big send.
Send it, as Max Verstappen once said. And that was for on the last lap as well.
Certainly was.
Total do or die move, and he dude.
Indeed. There we go. Confirmation of our finishers at the moment. Being passed some very incorrect information from Jimmy Allison. Really confusing me. Apologies. He's just trying to throw me off, bless him. Like I said, he's pulling all of his hair out. As he has been for a good decade in sim racing. De los Rios, though, confirmed as the victor provisionally from Veltons and McIntyre, that podium. Looking like at least the drivers that I would say at this point that are looking to move up. De los Rios, McIntyre and Herman Stocky are at least ones that I can say with some good knowledge will be moving up. The likes of Jack Noller, who had a great first round, I don't think will be. This round has not been good enough for him. Keep an eye on drivers like Dan Cal, could potentially be good enough to move himself up into split one. Well, we'll have to wait and see in a couple of weeks' time, won't we, Aidan, when we come back to the next round.
Yeah, next round at Virginia, which is definitely going to be entertaining, because if you thought the grass took you off into the wall at Portland, Virginia, it's multiplied, especially over at Oak Tree Corner, the double sort of right hander that leads onto the back straight there. We've seen many drivers go off there in all sorts of series, so yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see that one. And there's the calendar on the screen. VAR, 16th of November 2020, so 2 weeks from now for this series, but GT Pro will be back next week, next Monday, for Virginia before we head to the Nürburgring, then to Indianapolis, and then just after Christmas we head to TBA, which Studio 397 should be announcing within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. Though everyone's kind of done the maths on what they think it'll be after Christmas. Yeah, it'll be Knockhill for Neil Heatley. He'll love that one. Nearly approaching the halfway point of the season, though. Our first relegation is over. We'll grab the updates when we get into the final, into round 3 rather, the final part of the halfway part of the season. Our final part of the first leg abroad here in the United States before we head to Europe for the Nürburgring. We've got 4 rounds in the United States this season, including Indianapolis. TBA can, if it's another American track, we'll start saying this is an American series.
Laguna Seca.
Yeah, it is. Oh god, another one, is it? Either way, though, that rounds us up here for round 2 of the rFactor 2 GT Challenge Series, powered by VCO, brought to you by the Race and Fanatec. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I've been Lewis McGlade, alongside me, been Aidan Millwood. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Join us also in a week when GT Pro's back. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.